Hey everyone, it's Blake. Welcome in to episode number 8 of our AEW 2022 save and TEW 2020. This is our state of AEW for July 2022. And if you've not followed my WWE 2021 series on the channel, we do this at the start of every new month just to kind of give you a look behind the scenes to kind of see, look at ratings and popularity and all those different things. It's kind of fun to do because you guys know kind of how I do these episodes. I don't really, peel back any of the behind the scenes stuff. I just sort of give you the story on each television show, and we do it that way just to kind of add to the suspense and all that. But this is one where we kind of dive into pretty much the numbers and any of the big developments going on, elsewhere and some of the other things like that. So this is usually a pretty fun episode. Everyone kind of enjoyed that when we started doing it with the WWE one, so I think it'll be fun to do with the AEW one as well. These are kind of some of my favorite episodes just because I think it's interesting to look at kind of where things are at the start of a new month. So let's do that here. And of course, we are in July, so you're going to get a lot of these mid-year sort of awards that pop up in the game, which you'll get on any of this stuff. But looks like Bobby Lashley, old Bob Lashley here, he is leading the way right now as the wrestler of the year. Let's see what matches he's had. Okay, so yeah, I could see that, I guess. Looks like he's been in nothing but tag team matches. So good to know that's he's just a tag team guy apparently at this point. If you want better Bobby Lashley booking, I would say tune into the WWE 2021 save, but there's a spoiler in there that I will not reveal if you haven't watched the series yet. It turns out Bobby Lashley doesn't exactly wrestle a whole lot in our series, but he's the wrestler of the year so far. WWE, it's not surprising here. They're the company of the year, tag team of the year, the Lucha Brothers. That one goes to us to this point. Of course, they've got a big feud going on right now with Andrade and Rush, so we'll see what kind of matches they get out of those. Match of the year looks like, Danielson and Archer. That was the one we did at Road Rager. What did he get, an 85, I think, or something like that? So that's your match of the year to this point, it looks like. So good to hear. Show of the year, Road Rager. We had a great show. It was, it was fantastic. So no surprise there. That was a really great show. And, we look at it here. What did we get for Road Rager? Yeah, we got an 85 for Road Rager too. So that was a great show. That's your leader. Young wrestler, no one from AEW, WWE, AJ Styles, the veteran wrestler of the year, female. That's going to go to a Stardom talent, and we've got a lot of this here. The CMLL and New Japan apparently have broken off their relationship. They had the relationship, and apparently they are going to war here with anyone and everyone. CMLL going to war with AAA. That's been happening for many years now, so I think that was inevitable in the game at least. So that is something. Hikaru Shida changed her style. We're just going to look through this stuff first, and then we'll get into the bigger stuff. She's now a regular wrestler versus a technician, so that is worth noting. I don't know of anything else. ROH at war with CMLL. Anything else of note here? Kiera Hogan changes our style, and she's going to go from technician to regular wrestler. Speaking of her, we'll get to her in a second because she is actually a noteworthy talent in this state of AEW, and I'll tell you why here shortly. But for now, let's start with the size, and we're at a 63 pretty much all across the U.S., 65 in the Southeast. We know we have to get to the big level. We gotta bump it up quite a bit, and that's going to take a little work to get there. If we look at our progress when we started in June, we were at 60 pretty much everywhere. So we've gained about 3 in popularity in the on the mainland here outside of Puerto Rico and Hawaii. So we're growing. 1 month in, we gain about 3 in popularity. So that's notable, I guess you could say. If you want to kind of see our title situation, TBS Championship at a 39. We can track the prestige of all these, but there's really not a lot of note. That's going to be the same as it was. AEW Women's Champion Thunder Rosa still there. Punk at a 78. I don't think that's changed. Yeah. So our tag team champions, perhaps. No, not changed there either. And Ricky Starks, a double champion right now, as we see. He holds the tag belts and the FTW title. We look at our storylines. The Britt Baker storyline doing well. Our Be Elite storyline with Adam Cole wanting everyone to basically be a bunch of winners. 73 for that one. The Jade storyline hasn't really started. There's nothing I've attached to it. Miro is an angry man, and that is there. The Punk storyline doing well. Tag team title chase. Some of these I've got to sort of clean up the storylines a little bit as we move forward, and you'll see that on the next episode. But for now, these are just kind of where things stand on the storylines. Let's look at some of the other stuff that's sort of going on at the moment. If you're going to kind of a state of the land here, we're a month in, nothing's really changed. WWE is, of course, at the top, your usual crew here. And as I've said, if you're tuned in late to the series, this is one where I just sort of tweaked this mod on my own, and I didn't really do anything with ROH. So they are not our child company or anything. So if you just happen to find this, that is not the situation right now. I do want to show you the events because this will kind of show you what we're doing moving forward. So we had Road Rager for June, week 3. I did add Fighter Fest. That's going to be coming up in July of week 3, which you'll start to see the build to that on the next episode. So I added it again on Saturday, but I think I'm going to try to do the sort of workaround to make this a Wednesday Dynamite special. But we'll talk more about that. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to structure that. I may or may not. We'll see. I kind of like the idea of maybe still doing these sort of Saturday specials, but we'll decide on that. But that is going to be sort of your gap from Fighter Fest to All Out, which will be our first big show of the save. So that, of course, is going to be in September, week 1. So this will kind of bridge that gap at the end of July. So that is the plan there for this one. All right, let's look at some of the popularity ratings, and we'll kind of look at those real quick, and then we will look at everyone's new favorite child company, OVW, and I will give you kind of an idea of where things stand on that. But let's look at our popularity ratings for some of our talent. All right, so I'm going to filter these by we'll go down the line rather than having everyone, because like I said, I don't want to give anything away in terms of some of my talent, and we're not going to look through everyone in here. I'm mostly going to focus on people who have been, main parts of our series thus far, and I don't want to give away any potential signees, although there is one I'm going to give away because it's just going to be obvious, and you guys might as well already know that we do have him on the roster since we'll talk about it in a second. But Hangman Page, really, I don't think much of a difference in terms of his popularity. All right, so he gains, 1, and he hasn't done a whole lot, I guess, at this point in our save. That'll change soon. But that is there. Danielson is 78. Across the board here, that hasn't changed. Jericho, he's got a bunch of different ones too. I don't know if that would have changed. Okay, so Jericho's gone up a little bit in a couple of them there. Punk, our champion, my goodness, I don't know where this was initially sat at, but I'm not sure if this changed or not. I guess not, but I did not realize Punk was that high, to be honest with you. But that is perfectly fine for us because we're trying to take down the WWE. So Moxley at a 77. I assume his has gone up a little bit. Yeah, because he's won some matches. So that's gone up a little bit. Of course, Omega's not even in the picture. Neither MJF, Sting. That's probably not changed any because Sting hasn't really done anything either. So all right, we're gonna go from major star and we will go to star here, and that is where quickly I'm gonna let you know. We'll get to that in a second. Adam Cole is at this. Let's see if any changes for Cole. There's not. By the way, this is, if you're the first time watching this state up, we're not going to go through every single wrestler. Only ones that I'm going to look at and say, oh, yeah, they may have changed. Britt Baker probably hasn't changed all that much. She hasn't really had a lot of note. FTR, I don't know kind of what their popularity would be. They've had some matches. Okay, so they're going up in the right direction. And again, this is one of the early ones. This gets more interesting when we look at the popularity ratings, 4 or 5 months down the road. The first month, there's just not a lot of big changes. So, okay, Cesaro, by the way, he's the one who was not initially when we started the save. He was not hired. You guys know he's there now, so we're going to change his name. He's officially on the roster. It's just, when will he debut? That's kind of your tease of when am I going to debut him? What am I going to do with him from a storyline standpoint? There's your tease for that. So Christian 64, I don't think he's changed any. Just based on, all he's done is turned on his friend. So Dax, I assume, has also made that change. Malachi, I don't know if he's been, he's lost some of those matches, but he still goes up by being in the Punk scenario. The Bucks, I don't think anything's changed with the Bucks. Probably not. So Miro, I assume, has probably gained a little bit because he did have a win over Orange Cassidy at Road Rager. Yeah, so he goes up one. Yeah, so Orange Cassidy, I don't think probably lost a whole lot from that Miro match. Yeah, so again, there's not this is not as exciting as it is once you really get to like big pay-per-views and you come out of those and you see all this. So Wardlow's an interesting one, I think. If you look at him here, progress, yeah, so he hasn't changed either, even by winning the TNT title. So all right, we're gonna look at just a couple more guys, specifically Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks, because they are our new tag team champions. And I'm looking down this list here. I don't think I'm spoiling anything with any signees. Yeah, there's no one in here. So specifically, I want to look at those two because really, when I look down the list here, I mean, Eddie Kingston, I don't think he would have gained a whole lot. Yeah, he hasn't really moved a lot. He's had some wins. I mean, O'Reilly's interesting, I suppose, because we've had him on quite a winning streak. Yeah, but he's not gaining a whole lot just yet. Anything else? I'm looking down here. I think it's just pretty much Starks and Hobbs. Yeah, they're the only two here. So Hobbs is at a 46. I'm curious where he started. Okay, well, there we go. Now this is what we're talking about. This is why I go through the popularity ratings, because you get some of these jumps like this, and this is clearly, as we see, a very significant one. In 1 month, we've had Hobbs go from mid 30s to now upper 40s and even a 50 in the Southeast. So he's jumped double digits, and we know why. They've won some big matches. Team Taz has beaten the Hardy Boys. They beat the Lucha Brothers. I mean, they've had quite a jump here, and they are tag team champions now. So that's noteworthy. Ricky Starks at a 52. I don't know where he started. So Starks going to jump up 8 pretty much across the board. So that's significant. Those are easily our two biggest ones at this point. We look at kind of our popularity jumps and those kind of things. We're not going to go through everyone else because I was just kind of looking for any trends that may be obvious to this point, but outside of those, there's really not a lot. So Ricky Starks, Powerhouse Hobbs, they are your MVPs for our popularity jumps for the month of June to July. So there you have it on that. All right, let's now look at some of the stuff going on in OVW, and then we will circle back around and kind of wrap things up here. All right, before we jump into OVW, I'm going to look at the finances because, as you see, we lost about $5.1 million last month, and if we continue that trend, we will be out of business by February. But not by February. We're going the other way, by December. But the reason why we keep in mind is we spent $5 million to set up our developmental territory. I think that's what we spent, right? It was like $5 million, I'm pretty sure. So that's why. So technically, I assume we would have only lost maybe $148,000, which at this point, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not concerned with going out of business. Although we got a big wage cost each month with our huge roster, but that is at least worth noting. And this is why we're gonna make sure to add in these events each month, even if they're kind of specials, just to kind of get something, a little more ticket sales and stuff out of them. But I mean, look, we may lose some money initially, but we're gonna be fine. If not, I'll have Tony Khan call his father and give us some extra money. So we can't go out of business. This is a series. We can't have that. We can't just stop the series because we're going out of business. That's not going to work. So we'll have to infiltrate some cash somehow into the product here. So we'll figure that out as we get to it. But yeah, the finance is really the only other thing I think we look at right now. Anything else? I'm kind of thinking, is there anything else we should look at here? Relationships, I don't think anything's changed on the relationship front. It's just kind of everything is the same to this point. All right. So let's get into, actually, hold on. I'm going to do one more thing. Let's look at our top 100 thus far, if you want to do that, kind of based on what we've had here. So, of course, like I said, Road Rager at the top. If you look at our top matches, clearly that is the one at the top so far, the Danielson Archer match from Road Rager. Then we had that really great tag match between Moxley and Yuta and the Bucks. So that was there. Some good matches here thus far. I think we've done okay. So that's kind of worth noting there. Our attendance, as you see here, you can just kind of see the rundown here for these, and yeah, our ratings, all this other stuff. So there's that. All right, now let's get to what you really came for. The Shane McMahon-led OVW. This is what you're here for. This, for some of you, you may be bigger OVW fans than you are AEW fans at this point because of what Shane's doing. I mean, he is just running a masterpiece here in our developmental territory. But in all seriousness, there is one thing I'm still not sure on, and I'll get to that in a second. By the way, I am going to send some more people down. Like, I know we got quite a few people here, but I did kind of look at the roster, and we're still going to send some people down because there's still a lot of people on this roster. And what I will do is kind of what I've talked about before. I'll just kind of call them up if I need them to have matches on Dynamite or whatever. But there's still quite a few people that, looking at the roster, I can send down here and probably, be in good shape. So that is kind of our plan at the moment. All right, title situation. You wanted to know. We held our first event, which we'll get to that in a second. But it did include changes to the championship. Now, our OVW Heavyweight Championship was not defended on the show. Neither was the Nationwide title. Like a, insurance thing. Nationwide is on your side here, but apparently not on the side of anyone in the OVW situation because there is no champion. But we did crown our first tag team champions, and it is the Varsity Blondes. So they won the tag team titles at our first event. And I think that's a good start. That's a great team to start off your lineage for your titles. So I was very happy with the game's choice of the Varsity Blondes as our first OVW tag team champions. Shane McMahon already leaning into a former WWF employee, Brian Pillman's son. That's just Shane's already bringing in the WWE ties. And then Shane apparently also bringing in the WWE ties because we have crowned the first women's champion, and it's Kiera Hogan, which no relation to Hulk Hogan, but maybe Shane McMahon wondered if he could have, sort of a Hogan-type reign here in OVW. But she is our first champion, and I like that choice because I think she's one that, again, we could probably use her somewhere on the main roster, but it's such a crowded roster, and I think she's pretty good. Her skills are good. She's got some decent ratings, so I'm fine with having Kiera Hogan as our first women's champion in OVW. So our first two champs there, and so that is kind of worth noting on that if you want to see our first result. And I'll talk about the schedule here in a second. OVW Saturday Night Special. We called it Saturday Night Special 1 because we are thinking of some ideas for this moving forward. So you see our results here. Aaron Solo and Serpentico getting a big win to open up our first ever match. A huge win there. Julia Hart, a three-way winner here in that one. Anthony Ogogo. Looks like Leo Bates and Maddie Rinkowski was the worst of the bunch here. Not a great match. A lot of women's matches here, though. So all you people out there that have enjoyed, we got a lot of women's stuff going on in our WWE save. OVW is a lot of women. Look, we got 4 women's matches in a row here. So really leaning into that. I like it because we do have a lot of women on the roster. So I like kind of leaning into some of this. So there you go. Kiera Hogan, as we said, beats Abaddon to win the title. And then our best match here was a nice one here. Was this, a 6-man here. And I like that group of 10, Fuego del Sol and Alan Angel. So Fuego, apparently a Dark Order member for the evening, gets the win over Pretty Peter Avalon, and Bear Country. And then it was the Varsity Blondes beating the Gun Club. I think that's a great main event, to be honest with you. Like, our first show to main event, I think Varsity Blondes, Gun Club, that feels like a natural main event. So I'm good with that. It wasn't a great match, but I'm good with that there. So here's the thing, and I'm open to your suggestions on this because I don't know exactly how I want to do it because I have to think about financial reasons too. How do we structure our schedule moving forward? Like, I don't know if we do just one event a month because I feel like that's not enough, if that makes sense. I feel like we need to have more events. Do we run just a weekly event? Do we run just a weekly Saturday event? But I don't know financially like what that's going to cost and all those other things. Anyone that has some familiarity with that, let me know because I don't want to, all of a sudden look up and OVW's got us about, $50,000 in the hole or anything. So I want to kind of figure out the best way to structure this. And I know we have options, and we've talked about this before. Right now, we haven't set the TV or monthly, but this was something that I still am not exactly sure how we want to do it. Like I said, do we do just a weekly event where we do, one event? And I'm not going to have the AI do this because then it'll just create a bunch of stuff. I'm just going to kind of copy it as we go. But I'm curious what you guys think. I mean, should we? I don't know. I just don't feel like one event a month is enough. I think we need more if we really want to kind of push things forward. But again, I don't know financially what that will cost to do because, as I've said before, I mean, I'm just being honest. I haven't run a lot of developmental stuff in this game to this point. So, because usually I'm playing, with WWE and all these others, and there's just nothing I have to touch with that stuff. So, I'm curious what you guys think. If you had any success with any of these different kind of schedule formats, let me know what you think we should do with our schedule moving forward, because I think it's very interesting to figure out that. I'd love to run one event a week. Would be great. Basically, it's like a television show, but it's just not on television. So, but I don't know if that's the best setup. But I'll let you guys decide that. So you get to step into Shane McMahon's shoes for this right here to try to figure out how we're going to kind of do our schedule moving forward. So there's a look at OVW. We have a couple champions. We will hopefully crown a heavyweight and nationwide champion at our next show, but that is officially set for OVW. So there you have it. There's kind of a look at OVW. Things going on right now in AEW 1 month in. We've got a lot of momentum here, 92%. I know we lost a lot of money last month. Like I said, a lot of that had to do with just starting up OVW, and there's a lot of stuff that we haven't even touched yet that we have the luxury of using in our save. Because remember, because we are AEW, we got a lot of talent trade agreements out there, so there's a lot of people we can still add to the mix when it comes to kind of appearing on our television shows, all those other things. So this is going to be one of those saves that we're just gonna kind of add as we go. There will be some things that. Initially we're just kind of focused on our roster, setting the foundation with our storylines, and some of them are going to be very kind of slow burns. Kind of our main storyline right now is the CM Punk stuff. There's a lot of stuff that we'll get to as we kind of move forward. By the way, let's look at real quick, I guess, what we can do before we wrap up. We can kind of look at the state of our creative here, and your usual people here. Next big thing, Sammy's still the only one in there. Hot prospects. Look, this is about what you'd expect, right? This is a pretty good group of hot prospects. Darby, Sammy, Tony Storm, Jungle Boy, Isaiah Cassidy. That's a great group there in that list. We look at the power, our momentum. Britt at the very top. Jade's there. Moxley, Page, Miro. All those make sense. Who's not? The Hardy Boys, unfortunately, have no momentum at the moment. So that is, that's worth noting there. Hidden Gems, I don't know who's in there. I haven't really... Because look, we're not trying to really load up on our roster right now. I think we got enough people. I don't think we're going to make any signings anytime soon. From that regard, there, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. So, all right, there you go. State of AEW for July 2022. That's where we're at right now. And so we've got a pretty big month ahead. We've got some big storylines that are going to continue to unfold. We've got Fyter Fest, as I said, coming up July week 3. That should be good. And then, we're on the road now to All Out. That's our next huge focus, although Fyter Fest will be an important show. All Out is what we're getting to, and that's still a couple months away for that. So, as always, be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And on the next episode, it will be week 1 in July, our Dynamite and Rampage episodes for that week. And by the way, as you can see, if you're on the channel, we did hit 500 subscribers. Just so awesome. You guys are just the best. And I always appreciate the great feedback, all this other stuff. It's just tremendous to know that you guys are enjoying all these series on the channel. And yes, as you know, we have multiple now. So we've got the AEW one here, the WWE one. We're almost, we're 75 plus episodes into that. So if you haven't started that one, go back, start it from the beginning. I think it's so fun to kind of watch people go back and watch it from the start and kind of be behind where we are. And I'm just kind of watching their reaction as they go on. It's very fun to kind of see the comments and the feedback on that. And the next episode of our WCW 1998 save will be coming up very soon, which we officially kind of brought that save back last week. And as I said, my schedule's kind of all over the place, but I'm working on that episode now. So the race to our pay-per-view, which we've got a very interesting title situation going on there with Sting, Hollywood Hogan. We've got Bret Hart, Ric Flair, all kinds of great stuff going to be going on our WCW 1998 save. So be sure to check that one out as well. But as I said, thank you guys as always for the great feedback and helping us hit that 500 mark. And we got a lot of exciting stuff we're going to start doing. Again, just to keep going here on the series, to keep kind of churning out a lot of these different series. And yeah, it's a lot of fun, a lot of variety. if you're a wrestling fan. So appreciate it as always. And on the next episode of our AEW 2022 save, it will be Dynamite and Rampage for July Week 1.